Hello viewers, I am Stella RANI, Assistant Professor of English from A.D.M. College for Women Autonomous, Nagapattinam. Now we are going to see the subject name Indian English Literature. Now we are going to see the topic Playing the English Gentleman. It was written by Mahatma Gandhi. Let's see about the author. Mahatma Gandhi, he was born on October 2nd, 1869, Porbandar, India. He was an Indian lawyer, politician, social activist and writer who became the leader of the nationalist movement against the British rule of India. As such, he came to be considered the father of his country. Gandhi is internationally esteemed for his doctrine of non-violent protest, it means satyagraha, to achieve political and social progress. In the eyes of millions of his fellow Indians, Gandhi was the Mahatma, it means great soul, the unthinking adoration of the huge crowds that gathered to see him all along the route of his tours made them a severe ordeal. He could hardly work during the day or rest at night. The odes of the Mahatmas he wrote are known only to the Mahatmas. His fame spread worldwide during his lifetime and only increased after his death. The name Mahatma Gandhi is now one of the most universally recognized on the earth. Let's see his youth life. Gandhi was the youngest child of his father's fourth wife. His father named Karamchand Gandhi, who was a Diwan. Diwan means the chief minister of Porbandar, the capital of a small principality in western India, in what is now Gujarat state. Under British suzerainty, did not have much in the way of formal education. He was, however, an able administrator who knew how to steer his way between the capricious princes, their long-suffering subject, and the headstrong British political officers in power. Gandhi's mother, Patliboy, was completely absorbed in religion, did not care much for finery or jewelry, divided her time between her home and the temple, fasted frequently, and wore herself out in days and nights of nursing whenever there was a sickness in the family. Mohandas grew up in a home steeped in Vaishnavism, worship of the Hindu god Vishnu, with a strong think of Jainism, a morally rigorous Indian religion whose chief tenets are non-violence and the belief that everything in the universe is eternal. Thus, he took for granted ahimsa, it means non-injury to all living beings, vegetarianism, next fasting for self-purification, and mutual tolerance between adherents of various creeds and sects. Next, who gave title of Mahatma to Gandhi? Gandhi is also known as Mahatma and father of the nation. The title Mahatma was awarded to him by Rabindranath Tagore. He was a Bengali writer. Next, who told Gandhi as a father of nation? That answer is Subhash Chandra Bose, a freedom fighter, addressed Mahatma Gandhi as father of the nation because he founded the independence for India League with Jawaharlal Nehru. Next, let's see student of law. Gandhi had dropped out of the cheapest college he could afford in Bombay. Mauji Dev Joshi ji, a Brahmin priest and family friend, advised Gandhi and his family that he should consider law studies in London. In July 1888, his wife Kasturiba gave birth to their first surviving son, Harilal. His mother was not comfortable about Gandhi leaving his wife and family and going so far from home. Gandhi's uncle Tulsidas also tried to dissuade his nephew. Gandhi wanted to go. To persuade his wife and mother, Gandhi made a vow in front of his mother that he would abstain from meat, alcohol and women. Gandhi's brother Lakshmi Das, who was already a lawyer, cheered Gandhi's London studies plan and offered to support him. Patliboy gave Gandhi her permission and blessing. Next is London life. On 10th August 1888, Gandhi, aged 18, left Porbandar for Mumbai, then known as Bombay. Upon arrival, he stayed with a local Mod Banya community whose elder warned him that England would tempt him to compromise his religion and eat and drink in Western ways. Despite Gandhi informing them to his promise to his mother and her blessing, he was excommunicated from his caste. Gandhi ignored this, and on 4th September, he sailed from Bombay to London with his brother, seeing him off. Gandhi attended University College, London, where he took classes in English literature with Henry Morley in 1888 to 1889. He also enrolled at the Inns of Court School of Law in Inner Temple with the intentions of becoming a barrister. His childhood shyness and self-withdrawal had continued through his teens. He retained these traits when he arrived in London, but joined a public speaking practice group and overcame his shyness sufficiently to practice law. He demonstrated a keen interest in the welfare of London's impoverished dockland communities. In 1889, a bitter trade dispute broke out in London, with the dockers striking for better pay and conditions, and the seamen, shipbuilders, factory girls, and others joining the strike in solidarity. These strikers were successful in part due to the mediations of Cardinal Manning, leading Gandhi and an Indian friend to make a point of visiting the Cardinal and thanking him for his work. Now, let's see vegetarianism and committee work. Gandhi's time in London was influenced by the vow he had made to his mother. He tried to adopt English customs, including taking dancing lessons. However, he did not appreciate the bland vegetarian food offered by his landlady and was frequently hungry until he found one of London's few vegetarian restaurants. Next, he was influenced by Henry Salt writing. He joined the London Vegetarian Society and was elected to his executive committee under the aegis of its president and benefactor Arnold Hills. An achievement while on the committee was the establishment of the Baywater chapter. Some of the vegetarians he met were members of the Theosophical Society, which had been founded in 1875 to further universal brotherhood, and which was devoted to the Society of Buddhist and Hindu literature. They encouraged Gandhi to join them in reading the Bhagavad Gita both in translation as well as in the original. Gandhi had a friendly and productive relationship with the Hills, but the two men took a different view on the continued LVS membership of fellow committee member Thomas Allinson. Their disagreement is the first known example of Gandhi challenging authority despite his shyness and temperamental disinclination towards confrontation. Allinson had been promoting newly available birth control methods, but Hills disapproved of these, believing they undermined public morality. He believed vegetarianism to be a moral movement and that Allinson should therefore no longer remain a member of the LVS. Gandhi shared his views on the dangers of birth control, but defended Allinson's right to differ. It would have been hard for Gandhi to challenge Hills. Hills was 12 years his senior and, unlike Gandhi, highly eloquent. He bankrolled the LVS and was a captain of industry with his Thomas Iron Workers Company employing more than 6,000 people in the East End of London. He was also a highly accomplished sportsman who later founded the football club West Ham United. In his 1927 an autobiography, Volume 1, Gandhi wrote, "The question deeply interested me I had a regard for Mr. Hills and his generosity, but I thought it was quite improper to exclude a man from a vegetarian society simply because he refused to regard Puritan morals as one of the objects of the society. A motion to remove Allinson was raised and was debated and voted on by the committee. Gandhi's shyness was an obstacle to his defense of Allinson at the committee meeting. He wrote his views down on paper, but shyness prevented him from reading out his argument. So the president asked another committee member to read them out for him. Although some other members of the committee agreed with Gandhi, the vote was lost and Allinson excluded. There were no hard feelings with the Hills proposing the toast at the LVS farewell dinner in honor of Gandhi's return to India. Gandhi was a strict vegetarian. He read several books on vegetarianism. He learned that all philosophers and prophets from Pythagoras and Jesus, and even in the present age, were vegetarians. Religion also played an important role in Gandhi's faith in vegetarianism. Gandhi studied different books on the health and hygiene like Salt Book, Howard Williams, The Ethics of Diet, Dr. Anna Kingsford, The Perfect Way in Diet, and the Dr. Allinson's writing on health and hygiene. He was also highly influenced by great people like Pythagoras and others who were vegetarianism. He realized that health and religion take an important place in one's life. The above belief reaffirmed his vegetarianism. Gandhi's friend thought that if he persisted in his objection to meat, he would not only develop a weak constitution but also remain a duffer in modern society. When he came to know that Gandhi has begun to interest himself in books on vegetarianism, he was afraid lest these studies should muddle Gandhi's head, and he frittered his life away in experiment, forgetting work and become a crank. Gandhiji had gone to Holborn restaurant with his friend. His friend had thought that in the midst of other dinner, Gandhiji modesty would forbid him for asking any question. It was a fancy place and a new experience for Gandhiji. He and his friend shared the same table, and the first course for the meal was soup. Gandhiji wondered that if the soup was a vegetarian soup and summoned that waiter immediately. His friend became irritated and asked him to leave the restaurant and wait for him outside. Gandhiji went out and searched for a vegetarian restaurant, but unfortunately the nearest restaurant of his choice had already been closed. Without a word, he accompanied his friend to the theatre. To please his friend and to make up for vegetarianism, Gandhiji tried to cultivate other habit to become an English gentleman. He brought new clothes suitable for English society, a chimney pot hat, an evening suit made in Bond Street, and a double watch chain of gold. He started spending 10 minutes every day before a huge mirror, sorting his hair and arranging his style. He also started taking lessons in dancing, violin, French, and elocution. Gandhiji's habit and attitudes are at variance with those he faced in Britain. First, he was a strict vegetarian. He continued being a vegetarian till last. While remaining in Britain, he had to feel uncomfortable with his friend. Due to that, his friend also tried to make him eat meat. But Gandhiji's belief in being a vegetarian became stronger because he read several books on vegetarianism. He also tried to become an English gentleman by taking a lesson in dancing, French language, and elocution. But he learned that it was all unnecessary. Gandhiji decided to alter his style for dressing. He used to wear the Bombay cut cloth which he thought were not suitable for English society. So he bought new clothes in English fashion from the army and navy stores. He got himself a chimney pot hat for 19 shillings. He wasted 10 pounds on an evening suit made in Bond Street and asked his brother to send him a double watch chain of gold. He also learned the art of tying a tie for himself. Apart from changing his clothes, Gandhiji also tried to imbibe other aspects of British culture. He started taking lessons in dancing, violin, French and elocution. They did help him become a gentleman, but not in the way he thought they would. I completely agree with Gandhiji's conclusion that he was chasing false ideals. Gandhiji was trying to please his friend and make up for this vegetarianism when he should have been concentrated on his studies, as he was not going to stay in England forever. Though he did not become an English gentleman like the way he imagined, the introspections that he received after he had gone through all the fruitless physical transformation did make him a refined gentleman in the truest sense. Gandhiji says this because he tried to become an English gentleman by adopting the British culture, and his ambition grew like the family of the recluse. He wasted time, money and energy in his endeavors of becoming an English gentleman, which were not related to his studies for which he was in London. He tried to take lessons dancing, French and elocution, which were beyond his means of studies. By this statement, Gandhiji means that he deviated from the false ideas he was pursuing and started focusing on the ambition for which he was in England in the first place. In Playing the English Gentleman by Mahatma Gandhi, we have the theme of identity, acceptance, change, perception and tradition. Taken from his autobiography, The Story of My Experiment with the Truth, the reader realizes after reading the essays that Gandhi may be exploring the theme of identity. There is a sense that Gandhi, while a student in England, wishes to fit in with his peers even though he may live a lifestyle that would be deemed unfamiliar to an English gentleman, being a vegetarian for example. Regardless of us, Gandhi does go some way in order to give off the appearance of an English gentleman, going as far as getting dancing lesson, changing his attire, learning the violin and getting elocution lessons, all of which Gandhi's hopes will help him to fit with his surrounding and be accepted by others. However, there does come a point when Gandhi realizes that he is living a lie and that he is not only fooling himself but also denting his tradition or the fact that he is an Indian and not an Englishman. What is also interesting about the essay is the fact that the reader is left with a sense that Gandhi made by feeling insecure within himself, unable to accept who is and such desires to change his very fabric in order to fit with his peace. In reality, it is up to others to accept Gandhi as he is and not the other way around. Gandhi's peers have an obligations to accept him as he is, though he may not necessarily but be how matters are perceived by others. Many might believe that in order to be accepted as a peer, which Gandhi wants to be, one must change their life to how the majority lives there. The insecurity that Gandhi may feel as student is not to be confused with a deeper insecurity often found and developed in a person since youth. Gandhi simply wants to fit in while living in England. It doesn't appear as though he is intent on living his life while back in India as an Englishman. Though some critics might thinking differently, suggesting that Gandhi's insecurities are deeply rooted and he is embarrassed by his appearance when compared to the average Englishman. If this is the case, then the fact that Gandhi decided against change suggests that he realizes he is attempting to be a something he is not, and as such, Gandhi is comfortable with his identity. However, the fact that the Gandhi can have concern about his identity is important, as it suggests that Gandhi may have eternal doubts about who he is. Though it might be important to again remember that Gandhi overcomes these doubts or rediscovers who he really is. An Indian man who is studying and living in England, a person who does not necessarily have to change his appearance or how he speaks. The responsibility as mentioned in on others to accept Gandhi for who he is. Whether people do is entirely up to them. Should they or not accept Gandhi for who he is, then they are at loss. The fact that Gandhi learns quickly that dancing is not for him might also be important as symbolically. This could suggest that Gandhi walked his own path. A path that may make an English gentleman uncomfortable, as it is contrary to his beliefs. Similarly, when it comes to speaking and the lessons in allocation, symbolically, Gandhi could be suggesting that speaking may not be important, but rather the content of one's speech might be more important. The end of the essay is also interesting, as there is a sense that though Gandhi might feel as though he has been beaten in his attempt to be an English gentleman, he has rediscovered who he really is, something which in time would severe Gandhi well. Even if he had the time, he could not imagine how it might. By rejecting the rules of being an English gentleman, Gandhi has not only found his true identity, but he also learnt a valuable lesson how important it is for a person to be true to themselves. Something that it appeals to readers by the fact that the Gandhi gives up all pursuits when it comes to being an English gentleman. Gandhi is displaying an honesty that many might not, because they wish to fit with a system that may or may not be right or appropriate for them. Some people are naturally suited to be English gentlemen, while others are foolish to try and pursue the rule if it means they forego their true identity. Next, let's see the theme of playing the English gentleman. Playing the English gentleman is an account of Gandhi's effort to mingle in English society. For being the English gentleman, Gandhi does several things such as wearing all things like he wear a new suit and also try to learn dancing, violin and elocution, but all in vain. Next, let's see the important question and answer. First question, which book by Howard Williams did Gandhiji read? Answer is, Gandhiji read the book The Ethics of Diet. It was written by Howard Williams. Second question, why did Gandhiji decide to become an English gentleman? The answer is, Gandhiji decided to become an English gentleman to put his friend at ease and to show that he would not be clumsy. Next question, where did Gandhiji and his friend take their dinner? Answer is, Gandhiji and his friend took their dinner at the Holborn restaurant. Which was the first course served to Gandhiji at the restaurant? Answer is, the first course served to Gandhiji at the restaurant was soup. Fifth question, where did Gandhiji buy his new cloth? That answer is, Gandhiji bought his new cloth at the Army and Navy store. Sixth question, which was the center of fashionable life in London? That answer is, Bond Street was the center of fashionable life in London. Next question, what was necessary for Gandhiji to make an English gentleman? That answer is, it was necessary for Gandhiji to learn dancing, French and elocution. Next, what fee was paid by Gandhiji at the dance class? Gandhiji paid £3 as a fee at the dance class. Next question. Which book did the allocation teacher recommend to Gandhiji for learning allocation? That answer is the allocation teacher recommended Bell's Standard Allocation to Gandhiji for learning allocation. Last question. What did Gandhiji realizes at the end? That answer is Gandhiji realized at the end that he must qualify to join the law course in London. Thank you. Thank you for opportunity.